start to think about what's working, what's not working, and go through the process of making it better.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
And welcome back, everybody. Dustin Harris hanging out for another mini-sode. Got a little idea I want to share with you today. Something that happened over the weekend that I think applies to our current situation. In fact, I want to talk a little bit. I'm going to channel my father today a little bit. I want to first pause and remind you we are sponsored by OINII software. OINII, of course, is the software that I use to manage my entire appraisal office. And lately, they are the software that I've been using to send a link to the homeowner to do a walkthrough so that I can start with pictures and details about the house before I even get to the property. It's called the walkthrough. It's anow.com/walkthrough. Again, it's anow.com/walkthrough. Okay, folks, welcome to another mini-sode. I had an experience over the weekend, and I have to tell you, sometimes I find that what comes out of my mouth is my father. And that's a scary thing. My dad was a scary guy, right? I love my dad to death. And by the way, he and I have the best relationship right now. He's up there in years. He's not doing well health-wise. This has been hard to be in this pandemic thing and not be able to be a part of my dad's life, at least in person. I've seen him several times from afar, and we talk quite frequently on Zoom right now. But I love my dad to death. But every once in a while, I told myself I would never be my dad, right? Every once in a while, I have this thing happen where what comes out of my mouth is my father. And I have to step back and go, whoa, Dustin, did you really just say that? And I had an experience over the weekend, not where I said that, but that my kids made fun of me for sometimes saying that. Let me set the scene. So over the weekend, and by the way, we live in an awesome place. I live in Idaho. I grew up loving motorcycles and snowmobiles. So in the winter, we do the snowmobile thing. In the summer, we do the motorcycle thing. Now, before you think that I grew up, oh boy, he must have grew up rich. No, I didn't. In fact, we lived in one unit of a triplex, right? But we love the outdoors. And so my dad always tried to provide us with, let's just put it this way, they were junkers. In fact, our typical Saturday basically consisted of going out with a 25-year-old snowmobile and probably spending 30 to 45 minutes riding it out in the dry farms, breaking down and spending the rest of the Saturday trying to fix it up so we could go next weekend. Okay, that was my experience with toys, if you will. And I've kind of passed that on to my own kids. We live in an area that has a lot of trees and a lot of outdoors, a lot of places to ride. And so we definitely have newer than 20-year-old machines, but not much. And I'm not a mechanic, okay, but I can get by. And so over the weekend, my kids had been out riding, and we've got this little 325 Polaris, a little four-wheeler. And it's a great little machine, and it is old. It's almost 20 years old. I think it's a 2001. But that thing just runs. It keeps running. And the kids love it because it's lightweight. And we've got bigger machines as well, but they love the 325 because it's lightweight. They can do all kinds of fun things on it. But they came in and they said, Dad, I can't get it to shift. And I said, okay, well, explain what's going on. I said, does it go into reverse? Yeah, it goes into reverse. Does it go into high? No. When I push it up to go into high, I get this grinding noise and it won't go into gear. And I said, well, that's the shifting arm. And they said, well, what's a shifting arm? So we went out together and we got a couple of 10 millimeter wrenches. And by the way, a shifting arm is an interesting thing because if you imagine a long bolt with threads on either end. And the whole bolt moves, right? So if you've got this situation where you adjust to be able to go into high, if you adjust too far, it won't go into reverse. You've got to find this perfect balance of reverse and high, right? The perfect place for this bolt. And so we played with it and we got there and we talked. And during the process, and I love working with my kids, it's a lot of fun. And during the process, I said something about getting in gear, okay? Now this is where my kids thought it was quite funny because every once in a while, my dad comes out of me, right? And one of the things that my dad used to say when I get too idle, when I wasn't doing much, he would say, Dustin, that's what he called me, Dustin, get your butt in gear. And so every once in a while, I will filter that, and not on purpose, but every once in a while, when I see my kids being idle, I'll say, "Come on, guys, get your butt in gear," right? And so over the weekend, as we're doing this, we're putting the four-wheeler in gear. My kid, I can't remember which one, said something to the effect of, "So basically, we're getting the four-wheel's butt in gear, right, Dad?" And I said, yeah, that's right. I want to pause here and remind you about OINII software. Now, folks, I've been using OINII software for, I don't know, three-ish years. Lately, as a response to this pandemic, OINII has come out with an awesome tool. It's called the walkthrough. Now, I've used it a couple of times, and I'm telling you folks, it is cool. So basically, you send a link to the contact, to the point of contact, whether that be a realtor, a homeowner, what have you. They can now walk around the outside, walk through the house, take pictures, give details of the floor coverings, the wall coverings, anything you want to know about that house, anything they want you to know about that house, send you back the pictures, send you back the information. It goes right to your email. There's a link inside ANOW itself, so you can keep it for your work file, and you can utilize that information as a starting point for your appraisal. It is the coolest thing, and it is free for ANOW users. Folks, if you're not an ANOW user, now is the best time to become one. Go to anow.com. Again, it's anow.com, anow.com. And if you want to learn more about the walkthrough software, go to anow.com/walkthrough. And welcome back, folks. We are talking today about my dad, actually, who happens to be my mentor, who is one of my best friends at this point. And it's interesting because he and I have had a love-hate relationship for most of my life. I was scared of my dad when I was a kid. He was the disciplinarian. He was not abusive, not even close. But he was the guy that, hey, wait till your father gets home. That guy, right? And a lot of times when I find myself getting idle, okay, he would say, Dustin, get your butt in gear. And so I think that what we're raised on just kind of sticks up there in our head, and every once in a while it comes out. And I find myself saying that to my kids every once in a while. Hey, Carter, get your butt in gear. Let's go, right? And my kids were laughing at me over the weekend because we were playing with the four-wheeler, and we were getting its butt in gear. We were adjusting it so that it could go into high and into reverse depending on what we needed. And this phrase came out. Well, as I was driving to work this morning, I thought about what's going on right now. So we've got, as I'm recording this, we are in the midst of a pandemic, right? We are in the midst of COVID-19. And it is an interesting world that we live in. And I find that a lot of appraisers right now are somewhat idle. Now, let me back that up, okay? We're busy as we've ever been, right? In fact, we are busier than we have ever been. And I know that there is a lot of downtime, though, for appraisers. A lot of them are staying home. A lot of them are taking some time away, if you will, for good reason, right? Some appraisers are choosing to do inspections, some are not. Some are choosing to do desktops and exteriors, some are not. But I find that appraisers, even though we're super busy volume-wise, there's more downtime, okay? There's less things to go out and take our time up. We're at home more. We're quarantined in many cases. Now, with that as a setting, let me back up for just a second and remind you that I do a lot of coaching, okay? And one-on-one coaching with appraisers, and I love it. I enjoy coaching. I really enjoy the opportunity to get to know appraisers on a one-on-one basis. And one of the things that I find happens quite frequently, and let me just say that if you've not read The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, folks, what are you waiting for? Awesome book, awesome principles. It's a book that I read every single year. Read and reread because I have to be constantly reminded of how to run a great business, right? He is the king of procedures. He is the king of structure. He is the king of taking these principles and applying them to your small business. So if you've not read it, read it, right? But one of the things that Michael Gerber talks about is this idea of working on your business, not in your business. And one of the things that I have dubbed in my masterminds and with my coaching students, and you've probably heard me talk about it here on the microphone, is OINII time. On it, not in it time, okay? Just an acronym, on it, not in it, OINII time. As I'm doing this one-on-one coaching, I often bring up this opportunity to work on your business. And I ask the question, Jane, how often are you working on it, not in it, right? And I can tell you folks, and it's universal, right? It is rare to find an appraiser who spends regular time that they've actually scheduled to work on their business. By the way, as a side note, let me remind you that working on your business, okay, is about goals, it's about vision, it's about problems that you're seeing and how to solve those problems, personnel issues, okay, do I hire, do I fire, do I promote, do I demote? These are the types of things that you're going to go through when you work on your business. And some people say, well, yeah, I worked on my business last week. I went out and I spoke to a realtor group. Okay, that's not really working on your business. That's working in your business because marketing is part of working in your business, okay? So remember, working on your business is no distractions. Turn off your phone, turn off your laptop, okay? At least turn off the internet and sit with yourself. That's working on your business. Start to think about what's working, what's not working, and go through the process of making it better. That's working on your business, okay? Now, with that backdrop, I had an opportunity to speak to an appraiser just last Thursday morning, okay? We did a coaching call. And with that, we talked about working on your business. And he said to me, Dustin, and this is, by the way, he was just after he said that he's not doing interior inspections. He's in the office more. Okay, he's busy, but not as busy as he's been because he's chosen to not do interior inspections. And literally 10 minutes later, we're talking about working on your business, right? And he says, Dustin, I just don't find I have time for that. Okay, let's connect these two, right? Right now, I find that appraisers have more time to work on their business than they've ever had in their lives. Yet, most of us are not doing it. Most of us, we're the same people that say, I don't have time to work on my business, are also the ones that are saying, gee, man, I'm quarantined. I don't know what to do with myself. Folks, I'm going to reach in and I'm going to grab my father from my childhood and I'm going to bring him into this conversation, right? My father would say, get your butt in gear. Just as we worked with a four-wheeler this weekend to make sure that it would get in gear. Folks, I want to channel my father for just a second and remind you to get your butt in gear. If you can't do it now during quarantine, you can't do it ever. Now, let me give you a little hint, a little tip, if you will. Working on your business cannot be treated any different, okay, than any other appointment. If you had an appointment to go see 123 OINII Street this afternoon at 1 o'clock, you would be there at 1 o'clock. You know you would because it's on your calendar, right? And you might make $100 per hour doing that appointment, right? I promise you, folks, that you make more per hour working on your business than you ever will working in your business. And yet, because nobody's writing you a check to do that, that's the thing that gets put to the side. I'm going to repeat that. You will make more dollars per hour working on your business than you ever will working in your business. So why not make an appointment with yourself? I make an appointment every Monday morning at 6 a.m. Every Monday morning at 6 a.m. Okay, I'm recording this on a Monday. This morning I did On It, Not In It. Did I want to? Did I want to get up early? Did I want to turn off my internet and turn off my Facebook and turn off everything else and focus on my business? No, I never do. But I force myself to do it. And every time I do it, I'm glad I did it. Folks, take an opportunity right now. And I know what you're saying, Dustin, this is record breaking. I can't keep up. Stop. Okay. I'm doing the same thing. Last month was absolutely record breaking for me. And I still took time to work on it, not in it. And that's where you're going to find success. So many appraisers wonder why they're not successful, why it is that they're doing the same thing over and over and over again and getting the same results, right? The definition of insanity. We keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and we expect something different, but we keep getting the same thing. Folks, if you want to see something different, take time to work on your business. I promise you, it will be well worth your time, especially when you're busy. Thank you for joining me, folks. Right now, I wanted to let you know that we are offering our All-Star Team for free, F-R-E-E, during the COVID-19 pandemic, okay? I want everybody to have access to this information. That's the Facebook page, that's the private library, and that's almost everything you see on my products page at theappraisercoach.com. If you're interested, and you should be, okay? Absolutely no obligation. Go to my website, theappraisercoach.com, go to memberships, and just use the coupon code COVID-19, no space, no hyphen, COVID-19 at checkout, and you can have it absolutely free for 30 days. It's the All-Star Team. We will see you there.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star Team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.
Again, it's anow.com. If you want to, sorry, editor, let's back up.